So last week I posted a video all about me building this generator box here inside the garage at my off-grid cabin in the woods. And for those of you that haven't seen that video, here's a really quick 1-minute summary. Today I'm going to be building a soundproof insulated box for my generator to go in. And I'm gonna build it inside the garage here. And that generator is pretty quiet, but it would be awesome if I could put it inside a box here and just have the exhaust blow outside. And when the garage is all closed up, there's still airflow, so the generator is not gonna explode or anything like that. And I can just have this like really quiet power situation. And it's protected from the elements. It's locked up inside the garage so people can't steal it. I think it's gonna be awesome. One outlet I use to plug in to that receptacle box, and then the other outlet on the generator is used for the fan. 3 hours, 14 minutes, and it's still 58 degrees in the box. I'm calling this a success, man. Heck yeah. Now, those of you that saw the full-length video know that I ran multiple tests over several hours to check the safety and performance of the generator while it was inside the box and see how it performed. But after hearing the feedback that I got after posting that video, I can't deny that there are some improvements that I can make. One of the most common things that I heard was in reference to the fan that I installed inside the box. A lot of you said that I should change the direction of the fan and have the air from outside blow into the box. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. Oh, perfect. Okay, all right, airflow, that's the top. A beautiful trim piece. All right, so quick summary of what I'm doing here. I found this part at Home Depot, and it's a backdraft preventer. So it's gonna allow air to go inside the box, but not out. And I don't even think this is super necessary, but I needed some type of coupling in order to put these pieces together. So that's why I'm using this, mostly just for the coupling functionality of it, because it fits right inside that pipe. And then this one is gonna fit over top of that. And then I have my trim piece in there as well. So it's got an arrow on it, says airflow that way, and this goes down. And I got everything ready to go here. And at some point in the future, I'll do some caulking and painting on this trim piece to really finish it off, but I'm not gonna do that right now. All right, that's looking pretty good. And I'm gonna install some fasteners here so it's attached to the wall. But before I do that, I'm gonna work on the next thing. And that is another thing people recommended, was taking this inlet pipe and diverting it away from the exhaust of the generator. Because people rightfully pointed out that you don't want the air that's coming into the box to be the same air that's blowing out of the box. So I'm gonna divert that air intake away. All right, you guys got those new inlet pipes all set up and fastened to the wall here. So again, the idea behind these changes is to make sure the inlet pipes are away from the exhaust of the generator. So this is going to be pulling in fresh air from here and pulling in fresh air from here. I'm so excited to test this out now, but before I do, I need to go inside the generator box and flip that fan around.
Laugh around. Don't put him down as arrogant.
The world is a world. Shoot. All right. Easy peasy. Okay, I'm gonna crank it up, plug in the fan, and see how the fan works before I close the box. Oh yeah, I can definitely feel it blowing cold air from outside onto my hand. By the way, the garage lights are plugged into the batteries right now, so that's how I'm having light in here. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off and switch the power over to the generator. Okay. Now we're on generator power. So I just closed the door on the generator box and it's saying that the temperature inside the box is 40 degrees and the temperature outside is 34 degrees. All right, and I can definitely feel this sucking in air. This one's a little more difficult because it's got so many openings, but I can feel a little bit there. The exhaust is definitely blowing out just like it was before here. And now we wait. I have a stopwatch here going right next to the thermometer, so we'll see what happens. So if you paid attention closely to that time-lapse footage, it stayed 51 degrees for the final hour. So from 3 to 4 hours, it didn't move from 51. I think I'd have to watch it back, but I'm pretty sure I was tracking it and I was like, okay, 51, 51, 51. And it held. So the first 3 hours, it was slowly rising and then it stabilized. And before I made these changes today, the maximum temperature was 60 degrees inside the box after a long time. In the last video it was 58, but after I tested it a few more times since then, and 60 was the highest it got. So that's a 9-degree difference. The changes I just made today improved the temperature 9 degrees, which is big. And while that time lapse was recording, I did some further improvements back here. I built this box using leftover rigid board insulation to replace the wooden one that was old and rotten. So what this is doing is covering all this stuff. This is the hot and cold water pipes that go over to the cabin. This is the electric that goes to the cabin, and these are drains for the hot water tank. And these blocks have been here since I got the cabin, so I used them to lay down on the ground here so that the exhaust hits these instead of the ground. All right, everybody, I have now had that generator running for almost 6 hours and it's still 52 degrees inside the box. So that breaks every record known to this man when it comes to that generator, because I've never even run that generator that long outside of this experiment. Like even when I just have it running outside before I did this project at all, it was like maybe 3 hours, 4 hours maybe, and then I was like, that thing's probably out of gas. So I didn't even know that thing could run this long. So by every metric that I can measure, this generator box is safe as far as I can tell. And also, this carbon monoxide detector has been inside the garage this entire time and it's still reading 0. And throughout this whole 5 hours, that door has been closed. That door has been closed, so this garage has been sealed as much as it can be. The 2 windows are closed. So there's no carbon monoxide that can be detected in here. There's literally 0. Like, it would be one thing if it was like 1 or 2. This thing, was it ppm, parts per million? So 0 parts per million carbon monoxide inside the garage, and the generator's been running for 6 hours almost. So it's good to me. And another thing is, like, this is totally crazy scenario. I would never run the generator for that long inside that box. It's just not really necessary, but now I know I can do it if I want to, but I'm probably not going to. And everything out here looks good after all that time. Nothing has exploded. This is definitely dry. Whew. Good job, girl. You did good. Man, yeah, she definitely needs a break. Switch over to the batteries. All right, and I'll just fuel her up so that the next time I need to use her, she's ready to go. Ooh, dang, she was one thirsty girl. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, everyone, I am back in the cabin here, chilling. I just finished showering. I'm nice and clean. Got the fire stoked downstairs and the hot air is rising, and that fan is pushing the air back down to circulate the heat throughout the cabin, so it's nice and cozy in here. This might be better lighting. So when it comes to this project, I know there's going to be a lot of people who watch this and who watched the previous video. They're just not going to be satisfied with anything that I do when it comes to this box, because they see generator, they see enclosed box, and they're like, nope, doesn't matter what you do, it's against the rules. I've gotten lots of comments that have said, like, oh, according to this rule in Article 64, page 19, section 17.62, column B, individuals are not to store a generator inside an enclosed structure, fire danger, carbon monoxide, all, like, okay, I get it. It's against the rules. I'm not supposed to do it. It's dangerous. I'm naturally a rule follower, so I get that perspective and wanting to be safe. And I know that a lot of you who comment on my videos are like, hey, you're not supposed to do that. That's unsafe. It's gonna, it's a fire danger, like all these things. I actually think a lot of you are concerned for my safety, and I appreciate that. So I know, for the most part, that's where you guys are coming from. I could have been discouraged. There's so many things I never would have done if it were for me being afraid of the rules. Okay, here's the most simple way I think I can put my views on this subject into one example so that it's understandable for people. I have dreams of buying property and building my own house someday for a wife and kids so that I can raise a family. I would love to do that. Believe it or not, I don't want to live in this cabin by myself for the rest of my life. So I would love to do that someday. And I know there are like everybody's going to comment like, oh, Diego, move to Kansas or move to Kentucky. Like, we don't have all these crazy rules. Those places, I don't like them. Washington is the bee's knees. I've traveled around the world literally to a lot of different places. Every time I come back to Washington, I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't want to be anywhere else. So not to say I might not I might end up somewhere else, who knows? But to do what I want to do, to buy land and build a house myself and have it have the maximum resale value, you want to build it to code. You want to have it inspected. You want to have that check mark to say the electrical, the plumbing, the excavation, the stormwater, or like, it's good to go, so that if you ever go to sell it, it's worth the most. That's just a smart move. And I understand that. I think a lot of people watch my videos and like, this dude he's like, he's got some skills, but he's just all over the place and he's dangerous. But my videos are very, very quick, and it's like, I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this. what you don't see is me sitting and contemplating and thinking for a long time between those clips. And before the project ever starts, I am thinking, should I even do this? So that despite what it might look like, I'm actually more strategic than it might look. But back to the point, it's very, very difficult to do that, to buy land and build your own house to code. The amount of fees and hoops that you have to jump through is so, it's demoralizing. It makes me not want to do it. And I think that is intentional. These rule makers and the bureaucracy intentionally wants to pound people's creative spirit and just destroy it, so that you just look at the market and you say, you know what? I have enough money to build my own house and I want to build my own house, but it's just going to be such a pain in the butt to do. I'm just going to buy this house that's brand new, that was built by somebody else, that's this far away from my neighbors, and it's new, it's nice, it's all sheetrocked, and I'm just going to live in the suburbs, and is what it is, like, because I just don't want to have to deal with all that BS. And honestly, realistically, I might get to that point in my life. I might end up doing that. If, right now I don't have enough money to do that, but, I could see that happening. And so I say all that to say, when I see comments that say, Diego, don't do this, don't build the generator box because this rule and this, and like, it's about your safety. Okay, maybe the people who regulate the rules and do the inspections, those people care about my safety, your safety with regards to those rules. But their bosses and their bosses' bosses and all the way up the ladder, in my opinion, they don't give a shit about my safety, your safety, anybody's safety. What they want is control, and they want people living on top of each other that's a good question. Why? Why do they want that? I don't know. But if I just open my eyes, I have eyes to see, I have ears to hear, I have a mind to think. That's why I don't say it all the time, but I often say it like, hey, I'm not a professional. When you're watching my video, use your own mind. But I don't say it all the time because I actually don't want to insult your intelligence. I actually want to respect my audience's intelligence and trust in your ability to watch me do something and then decide for yourself, that's crazy, Diego. Good for you for trying it, but I'm not going to do that. So if you have that opinion, just don't do it, and call me an idiot. Like, what? I just say what you want. I've gotten lots of nasty comments that I felt like blocking. Some couple of people have just become like constant trolls on my channel. They have negative comments for every single thing that I do. And so I was seriously considering blocking this person, but I'm not about that because I don't like censorship. So what kind of a hypocrite would I be if I am like this crusader for like, hey, everybody should have free speech? And, I've talked about these things on videos on my channel. And so that would be pretty hypocritical of me to just block somebody for saying something that I don't like. So comment what you want, say what you want. I'm not going to be able to satisfy everyone. I just had to say this, and now this video is really long. I'm trying to make my videos shorter. This video was like 15 minutes, just the project itself, and then I had to go on this rant. But I had to do it. I had to let you know what was on my mind, specifically with this topic, and then how it relates to all those other things. But really appreciate your viewership, as always. And I am running low on firewood. Actually, I'm not now because I already got firewood, but that video has already been recorded, and that will be released on my channel next week. And then week after that, most likely, I'm going to be catching up with neighbor Al. So look forward to all that coming up on the channel. And I will see you on the next one. Thanks.